start this week, Sean, a rather sad note as we here at Game On, including, of course, the entire world, not just the South African footballing fraternity, do, of course, bid farewell to a special Bafana player, that being JaydenAdams, who passed away way too early. So our thoughts and prayers are very much with the Adams family. Hello, Mzansi. I am Caesar Mapena. Welcome to another edition of Game On as we talk about, well, the event that's made the world come to a standstill. And by our minds, come down to the last two and what apparently has been getting through the last four, where for the first time in history, you had the top four ranked sides making up all four semi-final spots. Start off with Spain, up against, of course, the tournament favourites in many people's view, which was France. And Spain, I think, gave us a footballing lesson worldwide here. It wasn't just the French that were taught a footballing lesson. Something special we saw from Spain, Jerry, in the 2-0 demolition of the French.
Yeah, you know, for me, obviously, I mean, we spoke about this. I thought France with a team, like when I was asking my colleague here to say, can you just choose another country to play France in the final? Yeah. Unfortunately, it didn't go that way. But for me, I mean, it was a different approach from France. You talk about four guys that will always give you the momentum of the game for France. You will never find out what do they do. You're talking about Dembele, Bakola, Mbappe, and Olise. For me, he was even substituted. That you could tell it was not the French team that we've seen from the beginning of the tournament. So it was really disturbing. I don't know what happened with that, but that's football. Sometimes you need to make sure that you keep your momentum going.
Jerry, you know, a lot of people now are like saying, what happened to France? Why France didn't show up? I honestly, for me, I think we just need to give credit to Spain.
Yep.
You speak about in the midfield where Rodri and Ruiz were operating.
Fabian.
And Olise, the amazing stat that came out of this game, 0 successful dribbles, lost the ball 20 times.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, when those stats tell a story all its own. When Olise doesn't have a successful dribble, as good as he is with the ball, as brilliant as he's been in this tournament, that tells its own story. But Spain, and when we look at the tournament they've played, they've only conceded 1 goal all tournament long. And, you know, I guess for me personally, I also felt France, and I had to ask myself, was I thinking with my head or my heart? Because with the French team, we can relate to them for obvious reasons, but Spain they've been phenomenal this tournament.
Now, both of you have played the game at a high level. Both of you also coach. So, I'd love to get your views on this. When you look at the French team, lots of individual stars that come to the fore. Olise, Dembele, of course the captain as well. So many players that can turn the game on its head. When it's Spain, is it safe to say it's a system that works here, not necessarily the individual? Jerry, I'll start with you.
Yeah, true. So, I mean, if you look at this Spain team, you would always come and say you can just put your own starting 11. But when they came against France, my surprise, the biggest surprise of which for me was the best player on the day in that French team, Fabian Ruiz. I just got here and then I was asking my colleague when we were just talking of to say, where does this Fabian Ruiz play for? He said, no, he's a player for PSG, but he's from the bench.
That's not a starter.
From the bench. Yeah. And then I'm still surprised. That guy, if you look at him for coming in instead of Petri to play that role, is it Dennis Olmo?
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen Dennis
I love him.
play with Petri for a long period in this tournament. But Olmo there, himself as well, with that Fabian Ruiz, wow. I go with Mark on that one to say Spain was just a different entity on that.
You speak about an identity. Spanish football have an identity. you know exactly what's expected of you. You know they've been doing it since they've been 9 years old.
Trust in the system.
It's a system that they trust in, and it's a system that they completely destroyed France with. When you look at how they nullified the French threat, it comes down to everyone in that Spanish team knowing exactly what's expected of them at any given time. They know exactly where they need to be. If I'm the right back and the left winger has the ball, I know where I need to be. That's the system they have in place. We speak about patterns of play. They know exactly what's expected of them at any given time. And clearly, from that perspective, even though you can say pound for pound, player for player, France probably have the better team, but the system that the Spanish employ, there's no getting around it.
Now, we bid farewell to the French, and thank them for what's been an absolutely outstanding tournament. But there's two people I want to speak of firstly here, from a French point of view. One, Didier Deschamps, the career he's had as a coach, never mind as a player, of course, winning the World Cup with Henry and company back in 1998, but as a coach as well, to have reached the heights he has, where he's won the World Cup, he's made 2 finals, or well, 2 semi-finals in a row following that, let's put it that way, very close to a 3rd final in a row. And secondly, Kylian Mbappe. Here's a youngster who has won a World Cup as a teenager, gave us a great final last time around, and yeah, top goal scorer, equal top goal scorer with Lionel Messi now. Your thoughts on that contribution from those two great individuals quickly?
Well, certainly, I mean, Didier Deschamps, one of only 3 men to win the World Cup as a player and a coach, the others being Mario Zagallo as well as Franz Beckenbauer. So he stands apart in that space, and he's in elite company. Exceptional job that he's done, and we say now this will come to an end, but he can be proud of what he's done with this national team. And Mbappe, we can't talk about him because it's almost like he's in the halfway point. He's still got a long career ahead of him, even though it feels like...
And he's 1 goal shy of the top goal scorer ever at World Cups.
He's going to be the all-time leading goal scorer of the World Cup. It might still happen this tournament because he still has 1 more game to go in the losers final.
Well, I think maybe to echo in what Mark is talking about, I just want to maybe divert and go back to what we were talking about in terms of the development of Spanish players. Because if you look at that team that played France in the semi-final, you look at Cucurella, who's based in England. But the way Mark is putting it, it's more like the genes of being in the Spanish team. You look at Fabian Ruiz. He's in France playing for PSG. But the way he puts things together. So I'll just say I think Mark is just like spot on in terms of players that grew up in Spain. They know what is expected in terms of the way Spanish people want to play.
Well, what a performance it was from the Spanish, and also it needs to be said from the French as well. And what a semi-final. We take a short break, come back and talk about the finalists and arguably the greatest of all time. The debate may very well be put to rest at this World Cup.
Let's get the views of Michael in the UK.
Yes, Carol, what a huge game at the top of the table. I can't wait. Teco? Carol? Reggie?
Hollywood Bets. Catch the feeling.
Welcome back to Game On. Now, let's talk about the side that will face France in the FIFA World Cup final, of course, and it's the finalists from the last editions, champions from the last editions. And, well, think what you may of Argentina coming into this tournament, of Lionel Messi at 39 years of age coming into this tournament. I think any of those that may have had doubt would have had those doubts cast aside here. Up against England, and many wondered whether the long wait from 1966...
Yeah, but you look at the overall performance, because for me, if you look at the whole face of what this South American country brought for England, it was more like I was watching Paraguay in terms of the approach, being hard on the English players, frustrating them, but they held on. I mean, the whole first half, England, for me, they did hold on. Lucky enough, they got that goal through Anthony Gordon, but that didn't put this Argentinian team on a low level. They started upping the game. They wanted to make sure they coming back. So for them, I give credit to Argentina, the way they approached the game in terms of they wanted to frustrate England. That's what happened. Yes, they considered a goal that was scored by Anthony Gordon, but the way they came back, it was something that was out of this world, because they would come and not sit back, get the ball, and start moving forward. But obviously, the man, the leader, the general, Messi, I salute.
There's one or two things we can talk about here, Mark. Yes, we praised the English energy levels, I thought, before they got the goal and leading up to the goal. I love the effort they put out there, especially in response to the physicality from France. But after the goal is scored, it's almost like you angered the beast here. In the response from Messi and company is something I want to get your views on. And secondly, also, did the English sit back too far? Fall back too early? Let's put it that way.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yes. When we speak about the response of the Argentinian team, they've shown that throughout the tournament. Look at the response against Egypt, as controversial. You can say what you want about that game. You know, even against a Switzerland, there was a response. Against Cape Verde. Throughout the tournament, they've shown that this is a team that doesn't know when they're beaten. They will keep coming no matter what. The mentality is just next level, and that's one of the toughest things to get out of a team. And so we have to give credit to the coach for that. So Scaloni has done a fantastic job of making this team aware of what it means to wear that badge, what it means to fight for the nation. They do that better than everyone else. But when you look from an English perspective, they will definitely feel that they let themselves down, because when you look at the sub that was made, when Anthony Gordon went off and they brought on another defender, already then you're asking yourself, it's too soon. Because you got 30 minutes to go. You're now literally going onto the back foot. And Argentina is the worst team to do that against. You rather want to try to press them and force them to play in their half of the field. As soon as you invite them to come in, now you're allowing Messi, I mean, of all players, to allow Messi the space and time in your final third, he's going to hurt you. And so, for me, from Thomas Tuchel's perspective, he definitely erred in that regard. And you'll look back at this game and say he probably got it wrong. Because, if I'm not mistaken, the initial sub that he wanted to make was Rashford for Gordon. It was a like-for-like sub, so that he can keep the attack going. But as soon as they started dropping off, they were inviting trouble.
Jay, Lionel Messi. Goals are what many people talk about when they speak of Messi or Ronaldo, but let's talk Messi here in particular. Not to have scored, still walk away with a man of the match performance, arguably, and get the 2 assists in the fashion that he does, where the 1 assist comes from the right-footed cross. What more can you say about how special this guy is at 39?
I'm just stunned. Honestly, because you look at that jersey number 10 for Argentina in terms of Maradona, and then people were talking about who's going to take that jersey. Messi came on, he took that jersey. My question again, who's going to take that jersey number 10 from Argentina? I mean, that guy is special. We're talking about the problem which Tuchel had in terms of the defense. Messi collapsed the whole England defense. If I have to come back to you, you talk about Reece, the right back. He was tired, he had to go out. You talk about Spence. Also, tired. You talk about Stones. So the whole 3 defense, only Gueye was the only survivor in that defense. To show that what they were against was, it was like a serious problem.
How much punishment can this man take physically?
And they even brought Ben, who couldn't even talk
throughout the game.
Of the park.
Throughout the game, it's not just what he does on his feet, it's also how much punishment Messi is taking throughout the game.
When I saw Harry Kane bounce off of Messi like a rag doll, Messi just put his foot there to protect the ball, and Harry Kane just bounced off of him. Harry Kane is no pushover.
No.
And that just blew my mind.
And there's no comparing them size. There's no comparing them.
It's like double the size of Messi. And then it was Spence, then Harry Kane came, then Anthony Gordon, and then Anderson comes and he flicks it over Anderson. I'm like, what are you on? Like,
all in one play, all of them beaten by them.
Exactly.
Then they fouled them.
4 players
It's
around.
not normal. It's not normal. Like what Messi does on the football field, it's not normal.
On that note, not normal. What we've seen from Argentina, Lionel Messi over the last 20 years, absolutely unbelievable stuff. And he's led them to yet another final. So it's Argentina up against Spain. It's quite an interesting third segment we look forward to, where we discuss Argentina and Spain. Welcome back to Game On. Now let's talk about it. Spain up against Argentina. It's the, stuff football dreams are made of here when you consider this final. Thinking Spain, how their system has worked, reminding us of what they did in 2010. Argentina, of course, their talisman is the big talking point here, who, of course, has a special place in his heart for the nation of Spain and what they've done for his career in his football upbringing. You couldn't dream of a better final, better story, better ending to a career of a great
Well, ending to a career and ending to what has been a great World Cup as well.
Sure.
Minus all the, hydration breaks, all that, that anti-football, in my opinion.
And all the stuff outside of the game.
And all the stuff outside, all the controversy, whatever.
Yep.
Minus all that, we've been treated to some fantastic football.
True.
And it's now delivered the best of Europe, the European champions versus the South American champions and world champions. So you couldn't have asked for a better game. The subplots as well. The king versus the prince, the pretender coming through. So looking forward to what must be, and it's going to be an absorbing encounter.
Terry, the styles here. Styles make matches. Spain with the almost don't touch me type of football where they keep the ball moving and they're hard to track and close down. Argentina with a very physical and bullish type style. It makes for what could be a very great encounter here.
Great encounter indeed. I mean, I'm looking forward to this game, and I'll make sure that I'm just rushing with everything, because the most important part, it's more, we're talking about the GOAT here, which is somebody who grew up in Spain as an Argentinian, Messi. Now you have now, for me, the prodigal person that I'm saying is just an up-and-coming, solid defender as a youngster, Kubasi of Barcelona. I think when he was young, he should have maybe have photos of Messi in his room. Idolized him. Even now, imagine going to be against Messi in the world stage, in the world match stage as a youngster. That will make Kubasi the best ever defender that will come out of that duel if he does well, but I don't know. I mean,
can he pocket Messi? That's the thing. Someone's gonna have to pocket Messi.
Well, I stick with Kuba.
That's easier said than done.
Now, all eyes will be, of course, on New York, the city that never sleeps. The world will not sleep. That doesn't matter the time of day in the different parts of the world here, and everybody will want to see a game that we could be talking about for years to come here, and it could be one of those scenarios where 10, 15, 20 years from now, you'll remember exactly who you were with on this particular day and who you were watching with on the day when history was made. Now, we have to close the book and wish both sides, both nations, good luck going into the final of the FIFA World Cup, and talk about the women's game here in South Africa. It's been up and running, and Mamelodi Sundowns, of course, are doing their thing. In as far as the Hollywood Best Super League here, they have been dominant in recent seasons, dominant once again in what's known as the Super Era which is their log, of course. 5 wins, 21 goals in 5 wins, no goals conceded. This is absolute dominance ahead of sides like TS Galaxy, University of Pretoria, and Copperbelt.
Yeah, and probably the closest opponents in the TS Galaxy, who they came up against this past weekend, just last weekend, beating them 2-0. It's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out, because we know in the respective groups that fight for first place is ultimately where the champion is going to be decided. So TS Galaxy will have to dust off that loss very quickly. They've already got a draw, so they've dropped now in essence 5 points already. So they have fallen behind, and they need to play catch up.
Things are much tighter in the Super Rise League than with JVW leading University of Pretoria and TUT, and just 3 points separating those 3 sides, Jay.
Yeah, I think it's still, also for me, you know, in terms of the Super Era is the most difficult group, and the Super Rising, you've got JVW, who are mostly the favorites, but you still have a University of Johannesburg that is languishing at second. It's still going to be a tightly contested league, but for me, we're still going to see maybe Mamelodi Sundowns fighting for top spot with JVW, because yes, it's still the first round, but you look at the way both logs in terms of JVW and Mamelodi Sundowns, they are still like...
The way it's shaping up, certainly it looks like it will be those two already. UJ 3 points behind, TUT also 3 points behind JVW. Going to be interesting, but the favorites for the respective leagues would be Sundowns and JVW.
Now, Mark, many will be looking at this and thinking, why 2 groups? With the likes of JVW, University of Pretoria on one side, with 8 teams there, another 8 teams in the Super Era log. And why is this season different, and what does this mean going on to next season?
Well, all in all, this season is about playing into the structure for next season.
Yeah.
So next season will be, the top flight is going to have the top 8 teams. So in the respective leagues, the Super Rise and Super Era, top will play 1v1, will play for the championship to be champions. 2 and 2 will play for 3rd and 4th, and it'll work all the way down until we have the top 8. The top 8 will form part of the Elite League, and then number 9 to number 14 will basically be part of what would be a 2nd division. And then you would have 2 promoted teams, because the bottom 2 teams will be relegated. And then you get the 2 promoted teams forming the 8 that will be the 2nd division. So you'll have 2 divisions of 8 teams, and then it will be promotion relegation from there. So it's a new structure that we are kind of playing into.
Yep. And Jerry, interesting that we have these festivals that do take up a weekend. I know down in KZN most recently. What do you think of this structure where all the teams are all playing in one venue in what's called a festival of football, in as far as the ladies' game, and just doing something a bit different?
Definitely big difference, but I think for now, in what Mark just said now, they're trying to minimize that, because you're going to take 16 teams to be in a festival in one venue, which is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Maybe they're trying to cut on that so that they've got the top flight, that is 8 teams that will be competing against each other, and obviously the other 8 that will be like in the 2nd division of the format. So I think for me now, they were forced to go with this format, but it's going to be a league where, you know, you're playing Mark, you're playing Sizwe, you're not looking at the other group.
Sure.
But I think it's going to be a nice thing to do. But when it comes to that, personally, I wish there can be maybe a bit of a cup, you know, more like the Nedbank Cup in the men's football. Because now you're going to have the top flight and NFT.
So the FA Cup,
FA Cup, sort of.
That's what you mean. So keep in mind, the last games happened out in KZN. That, of course, sees the Hollywood Best Super League take a break. Reason for that being the WAFCON is something to look forward to. So the World Cup will end, the WAFCON gets us going, and well, there's no break in the world of football. The football never ends; only the matches do. So we're looking forward to the return of the Hollywood Best Super League on the other side of the WAFCON, of course, down in the Free State. And with that comes the end of what's been a fun-filled show. The last show before the end of the FIFA World Cup. We hope you have enjoyed it. We hope you've enjoyed our thoughts here on the game on in as far as the FIFA World Cup, especially those of Mark Haskins and Thierry Skosana. So from myself, Cesar Mapena, and the rest of the teams, we all say good luck to the nations of Argentina and Spain, and see you next week. Click, click, bang.